Hey team, and welcome to the 5-minute guide for Windwalker Monk. The Windwalker Monk is a moderate to complex fast-paced melee class, which uses hand-to-hand combat and mystical jade magic to find its enemy's weak point and manipulate it to their advantage. Its basic rotation includes a lot of buttons and plays in a very rhythmic fashion, with no abilities being repeated twice in a row. It revolves around its mastery and many rotational options to maintain a constant flow of varied attacks in combat, resulting in a very satisfying but simple punch and kick your enemy to death style. This large amount of attacks put into a simple priority list, as well as careful management and stacking of cooldowns, is how Windwalker does its damage. When looking at talents for Windwalker, both the Mythic Plus and Raid builds are the same, apart from the utility, with the Tier 2 row being a toss-up between Chi Torpedo and Tiger's Lust, and the Tier 4 row being a toss-up between Good Karma and Ring of Peace. I suggest reading them both and picking what best suits your playstyle and what your group needs. Before we get into this, let's take a quick look at our mastery, Combo Strikes. Our abilities deal X additional damage based on our mastery rating if they are not a repeat of the previous ability. This makes weaving different abilities together pretty important for us Windwalkers, even if it's just going back and forth between Tiger Palm and Blackout Kick while everything else is on cooldown. Now that we have that clarified, let's look at what makes Windwalker tick. The rotation for Windwalker can seem overwhelming at first glance, but as long as you know the value of each of your abilities in the current situation, it all becomes a lot more clear. This is because Windwalker works on a priority system. Certain abilities do more damage than others and, as such, should be prioritized or cast first before the less valuable ones. I'll show the priority on screen now so that you guys can see what it looks like. But, to put it simply, we have 3 big damage rotational abilities: Fists of Fury, Rising Sun Kick, and Whirling Dragon Punch. Try to keep these on cooldown as much as possible, spending any spare chi on Blackout Kick. We have 2 abilities that will spend energy to generate chi. Use these to avoid overcapping on energy and to generate chi. You can also use Chi Burst for this, or to keep your attacks from being duplicates of the last, ensuring our Combo Strikes bonus stays up. In AoE situations, spend the extra chi on spinning Crane Kick rather than Blackout Kick, making sure to attack as many different enemies with these 3 to make this one stronger. Generally though, we want to focus on getting our rotational abilities like Fists of Fury, Rising Sun Kick, and Whirling Dragon Punch back on cooldown as quick as possible. Now let's take a closer look at the other thing I said was important to the Windwalker's damage: cooldown stacking. Windwalker Monk's cooldowns, particularly Touch of Death, work a lot better when you do more stuff while they're active. As a result, you want to make sure you have a charge of Storm, Earth and Fire and Zwen available when you pop Touch of Death, to ensure that you get the most out of that extra damage dealt throughout the duration. You also want to make sure that when you pop Touch of Death along with the other 2 cooldowns, that you have things like Fists of Fury, Rising Sun Kick and Whirling Dragon Punch ready to be used during that next 8 seconds, to make sure Touch of Death is as meaty as possible when it goes off. I just want to mention Touch of Karma here, because this thing is important for both damage and defense. It will put a shield on you for 50% of your health, and any damage taken while it's up will put a huge nature damage dot on the target. Using this well can result in big extra damage on those meters. So yeah, pop that thing and go stand in some fire. You have my blessing. Trust me, it's okay. Go on. Alright, now that we have all that out of the way, let's take a look at the opener. On pull, we want to pop Zwen as we run in, Fist of the White Tiger, Tiger Palm, pop Touch of Death and Storm, Earth and Fire, then Rising Sun Kick, Tiger Palm, Fists of Fury, and Whirling Dragon Punch. I know this opener can seem like a lot, and it does at first, but it's simple once you break it down. It's all about getting our big damage abilities inside that 8 seconds of Touch of Death, so it's as big as possible when it pops. We can look at each stage of the opener separately to make it more manageable. The first few attacks are to generate chi and spend energy in preparation for our big damage. Then, we activate the cooldowns, then we do the big damage, 3 easy steps. After the opener is done, we simply want to continue our normal rotation, not letting Storm, Earth and Fire cap its charges, and using Fist of Fury with each one. The Windwalker Monk is a very satisfying spec to get nailed down, and once you do, you'll be wondering why you ever found it hard. It's really all about finding that muscle memory for when things should be used and when they should be saved just a few seconds for that next big Storm, Earth and Fire. And that has been the Windwalker Monk, guys. I hope you found it informative, I hope you enjoyed. I highly recommend you guys try this spec. It absolutely destroys in Mythic Plus right now. You'll see yourself doing insane numbers on packs of 4 even without having Touch of Death or Zwen up. Just Storm, Earth and Fire is enough. Anyway, thank you all for watching, I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more or ask a question, be sure to come by and visit me at twitch.tv/jackdus. I'm live 6 nights a week. I'll see you again.